Good evening all, and welcome to today's session. I think we are just going to begin as we wait upon the rest to join us. To welcome you to the session and also to hope everybody is doing well, everybody is keeping up well, especially after the sad news that we've had as a country, but also to appreciate all of you for consistently being part of this session. So today, as a continuation of this program, we will be covering the quarterly implementation reports, and I'll be taking you through this session. Once again, my name is Christopher Kuria. I'm the budget facilitator from Nyandarua County. Nelson, maybe before I proceed, kindly confirm to me I'm audible and clear.
Unanisikia?
Yeah, nakusikia. Good. So thanks.
So
Nelson.
Chris. Hi,
yes.
Chris.
Yes.
So I was suggesting.
Yes.
So I was suggesting you do a minute of silence for Baba and then we continue.
All right. Thanks. Sure. So thanks, Nelson, for that reminder. So once again, in the spirit of mourning together as a country, we'll just take a minute to just mourn and celebrate Baba. Great. I think that was great. We pray that his soul may really get to rest in eternal peace, and that God may keep him because of what he's done for this country. So once again, welcome to today's session. My name is Christopher Kuria, and I'll be taking you through the quarterly implementation reports, which is a continuation from the sessions that we've covered in the past. And as usual, we will begin by doing a recap of the budget cycle. So maybe if there's anybody who is new here, just to say, we normally have a budget cycle that we started with from the very first session. And today, just as in every other session, every Thursday, we normally begin by just doing a recap so that we're able to even track or trace where exactly we are within the budget process. And then we're able to pick up with our session for the day. So the budget stages are four. That is, we have the formulation stage, the approval stage, implementation and audit. And in that budget cycle, or what we normally call COIL, the stages are in the respective colors. Formulation in blue, we have approval in green, and then we have implementation happening in yellow, and finally the audit or the evaluation stage in red. So as you may note, all this time that myself and all my colleagues, the session that the part that we've really given a lot of time, which is again clearly a longer in that graphic there in that coil, is the formulation stage. So we started with the county integrated development plan around September down there. We came all the way, did the county budget review and outlook paper. Then we came and did the county fiscal strategy paper sometime in February. And then after the county fiscal strategy paper, we came and had a session on the program-based budget happening around late April, and also moving into by 30th June for the approval. So now all this has happened, you know, hii process tumepitia, hii process yote, budget imetoka from the annual development plan, imekuja all the way to the approval stage there. It has been approved now by the county assembly as the approved program-based budget. What next? So obviously, once the budget has been approved by 30th June, then we are able now to proceed into the third stage, which is implementation. So hapo sasa ndio our respective county governments are able to, by starting the 1st of July, they are able to start undertaking the programs, the projects, the activities that are within the approved program-based budget. So it is important to note that, and also to say, to a big extent, that the discussion today will be still touching on, you know, that stage 3 implementation. So most of the times, maybe I can just say this from my experience, and those of you who are already budget champions and have participated in the budget process, most of the time we normally tend to focus on the formulation stage. You know, tuna push annual development plan, tuna push county fiscal strategy paper, tunaenda kwa program-based budget. Then it's as if by the time it is approved, we kind of are not able to follow up so much. Yet ideally, our advocacy, our budget advocacy, our interests, especially as a community, should actually proceed to the implementation stage. Because remember, you have, for example, you have advocated for whatever sector, whatever issues that you normally advocate for, and they have actually been considered in the budget. So what happens if you're not able to follow up in the implementation stage? There is a likelihood, maybe, you know, things may not be implemented, or if they're implemented, they are not undertaken to maybe completion. So it's very important for us to note that our engagement should not just end at the formulation stage or a formulation and approval stage, but it's also important for us now to follow up with the implementation stage. So finally, the audit stage, and then is now where comes implementation has happened. So there is room to audit and see to what extent you know, the budget has been implemented. Now up until we normally have the Auditor General, but for now, allow me to proceed into the session for today, that is the quarterly implementation reports, and to say, so basically today we have some 5 key objectives for the session. So 1, we need to know and understand the quarterly implementation reports. What are these quarterly implementation reports? Then 2, what is their timeline? Then 3, what is the legal basis or framework for the quarterly implementation reports? What is the importance? We need to understand what is the importance of the quarterly implementation reports. And then finally, we are going to look at the components of the quarterly implementation reports. So I hope that is clear. Maybe even as we continue, if there is any question, any concern, please feel free to just type in the chat box. So to begin with, what are quarterly implementation reports? So just from the word, you can tell that this, when we talk about a quarterly implementation report, we are just talking about a progress report that is showing how a county has implemented its approved budget during a specific quarter. So during that quarter, to tulipitisha budget, you know, the program-based budget. So within a given quarter, say tumeanza mwaka July, within starting July, when will the first, maybe when will be the first quarter ending? Maybe you can just type it in the chat box. So within that period, maybe starting July for quarter one, we should be able to know, based on the budget, what has the county achieved. And maybe even as we talk about this, it is important to note, remember, once the budget has been approved, it is for the entire financial year. So being for the entire financial year, definitely the programs will be taken the way the county government or the government works. There is an annual plan that now gets broken down into quarters, into months, and so on and so forth. So in this case, the quarterly implementation report should be able to show us what the county has implemented within that quarter. And it should highlight the following: one, the expenditure against the approved budget; two, the progress on the projects and activities within that quarter, and generally now contributing to the entire financial year. And finally, any challenges, deviations, and now the accompanying recommendations for the same. So to make everybody understand, so we all know the financial year starts in July. So this is how the quarters or the timelines are distributed. So quarter one, I think some of you had typed in the chat box. Yeah, I see, like Victor, you typed in September, and your quarter one itakuwa inaisha, and you are right. So the point here is quarter one ndio hiyo inaanza July going in all the way to September. Quarter two, October to December; quarter three, January to March; and the final quarter, quarter four, April to June. And then you can see there the respective timelines that each of these. So sorry, I'm having an issue with my floating meeting controls. Let me just remove it. Okay, so quarter one, as you can see there, it should be submitted by the county treasury to the county assembly and the controller of budget by 31st October. So by 31st of October, tunafaa tukuwe na quarter one report inafaa ikuwe submitted. Quarter two by 31st of January. Quarter three by 30th of April, and finally quarter four by 31st of July. So that is it about the timelines. And the reason why it is important for us to note these timelines is because, for example, right now, sahi tuko October. So what is the latest quarter report that we should be having with us from our counties or from our county our websites? Anybody? Maybe you can just type in the chat box. Okay, thanks guys. John, Asan, Joseph Minor, you are all correct. So no, somebody is asking for me to repeat the question. I was asking, based on this timeline, ni quarter report gani tunafaa tukuwe tuko nayo? And I think we are all in agreement, even from the responses, that we are in October. So that means quarter one, by the time this month is coming to an end, we should be having the first quarter report. And then over the course of time now, we should be able to follow now on the subsequent quarterly reports. So that is it about the timelines. Now, what is the legal basis or framework for the preparation of the quarterly implementation reports? So just like the previous financial documents, it is good to note that the framework, the legal framework for the quarterly implementation reports is based on the Public Finance and Management Act 2012, and some of the key provisions from the PFM Act that give the basis for the implementation reports is one, Section 104, which basically tasks county treasury to monitor and oversee county finances. But of importance is Section 166, which now calls on departments to prepare quarterly implementation reports within 15 days after the end of each quarter. And then the departments, so kama sasa department ya health, department ya agriculture, department ya water, and so on and so forth, what does they prepare? And then they will give to county treasury, which will now consolidate now collectively for the entire county and submit to the county assembly and the controller of budget. So that is worth to note. And then still as continuation of the legal basis, there is still more provisions in the PFM Act. You can see those regulations, Regulation 73, that the reports must include details on revenue, expenditure, and project progress. And also the county treasury must publish and publicize the quarterly implementation reports for transparency. And I think this is very important for us to note that these documents must actually be published and publicized. So inamaanisha ukienda kwa county website yako, as you're looking for other budget documents, you should be able to also get the quarterly implementation reports. And then, of course, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 also gives the provisions, you know, Article 201, calling for the principles of openness, accountability, and public participation. Article 35, you know, the right of access to information, including financial reports. So we move on. I'll keep on checking the chat to see if there's any questions. Okay, none yet. So what is the importance of quarterly implementation reports? And maybe I should have asked before I go into this next slide. Maybe very quickly or very randomly, what do you think is the importance of the quarterly implementation reports? Just type briefly within the chat. Angela says accountability, right? That is very right. Any other key importance? Kenneth says equity. Okay. Transparency. Good. Good. Transparency. Key achievements. Caroline. So you're right. You're all right. John Michael, accountability. So I like it that most of us are actually, it is coming out clear that we have all these reasons, but accountability is standing out. Paul is saying monitoring of absorption rate, right? Acts as guideline and accountability, right? Okay, so all these reasons that you're giving are right. It helps the county highlight on issues of concern. You're right. So to move now to that particular slide. Sorry. So that is the first point there that most of you have said. The quarterly implementation reports, they enable us in terms of tracking, transparency, and accountability. And I'll ask you a very simple question. Imagine a scenario where tunaongelea budget ya county yako, and you have to, all those things that the county government has said is going to do, you have to wait for the entire financial year to end, you know, without these quarterly implementation reports in existence. I don't know how it will look like. Eventually, mwaka mzima ikiisha ndio unapoa, you know, kind of the reports of, you know, what has been implemented, what has been done. I think you can agree with me, it would really be hectic to even follow up. But with the quarterly implementation reports, it is now easy. You're able to now track periodically within those quarters. And then they also give us, as the citizens and the county assembly, regular budget performance updates. We're able to see how our county is doing. And then they give us the opportunity for early corrective measures to improve budget execution. And most important, decision making in subsequent quarters. So maybe if there were some issues while we're still in quarter one, as we go to quarter two, quarter three, up to the final quarter, we are able to make decisions based on evidence on how maybe the budget is being implemented or how we are performing. So that is it about importance. As I conclude on this still part of the introduction, it is also worth to mention that, remember, easy implementation, quarterly implementation report unaongelea, they are being prepared by the county governments. But outside that, it is worth to share that the controller of budget also normally prepares implementation reports, and the Office of the Controller of Budget is mandated by Article 228 that also requires, that information is made available through these reports on how budgets are being implemented by the county governments. But now for the COB reports, they are normally called budget implementation review reports. And it is also good to note that although the county prepared quarterly implementation reports, they tend to focus now at the county level, in terms of the departments, programs. For the COB reports, they tend to aggregate information from now the counties and also from the national government, and they're able to present a wider view, enabling comparison across counties and over the course of time. So now we move on to the components of the quarterly implementation report. So they are as follows. There are 5. So ideally, any of your county quarterly implementation reports should consist of executive summary or an introduction, revenue and expenditure performance, project implementation status, program performance, and then finally challenges and recommendations. These are the highlights of what is the components of the quarterly implementation reports. So we will start with the first part, the executive summary or introduction. So the executive summary or this introduction part normally provides a comprehensive kind of snapshot of the county's overall performance during the reporting quarter. So it should be able to highlight the key developments, the achievements, any challenges and any emerging priorities that happened within a given quarter. And as you can see on the screen, I have shared some snippets from 2 quarterly implementation reports. The first snippet is from the Machakos quarterly implementation report, and their second one is from Nyeri's. So you can see, for example, this one has an introduction of giving a legal basis for the preparation of quarterly reports, why it is important. It is prepared in accordance with the PFM Act. And then down there is an overview in terms of the budget. If you come to the Nyeri one, you can also see that there is an introduction saying this is the 4th quarterly county budget implementation report covering that period, that is there. And then it provides information on various departments and so on and so forth. So by reading, you can see what I was saying. You can get, it's like you're getting an highlight of what the report is trying to communicate. So that is the first part. We move to the second part, revenue and expenditure performance. So for the revenue and expenditure performance, the quarterly implementation report should provide us with comprehensive information on budget performance for the reporting quarter. So that means both revenue and expenditure. So it is important to note that this section forms the backbone of the report, as here we are able to see how effective the county has been able to mobilize and utilize its resources. So, in terms of revenue, how much were they able, for example, to raise within that given quarter. Kama ni expenditure, how much has been spent generally, but now specifically into each of those departments. And then it is also important that, you know, this performance is covered in the reports, because it strengthens fiscal accountability and transparency and accountability now, allowing us now to be able to track the budget. Still a continuation on the revenue and expenditure performance. So we start with the revenue performance. So for example, we should be able to see in terms of revenue, how have we performed? So what, in terms of on-source revenue, ile pesa yenye county in our quarter, maybe the fees, the permits, the levies, cess, within your quarter, ni pesa ngapi yenye county imepata yenye ni on-source revenue. Then when we come to transfers from national government, so hapa tuko na equitable share, you know, in the equitable share that maybe Nyandarua County was expecting, how much has it received within quarter one? Remember, if they are expecting, say, some 6 billion, definitely they just get this money in chunks within the quarters. So maybe within a given quarter, they'll have received some 1 billion, some millions, you know. So we should be able to see that. If there are any conditional grants, again, we should also be able to see that. And any other allocations, if it is those counties that received from the equalization fund, some of the marginalized counties up there, we should also be able to see that. And then if there are any donor, if there's any donor funding, we should also be able to see within that quarter how much was received, and so on and so forth. And then we should also be able to have an analysis showing, is there any revenue shortfalls or any surpluses, you know, and any, and of course, the reasons for that. So to proceed still on the same, that was on revenue. Now, when you come to expenditure, when you come to the expenditure part, we should get a very clear breakdown on how each of the departments has utilized the funds. So if we're talking about health, how have they, what have they utilized within that quarter? If we're talking about agriculture, what have they utilized? And again, we should be able to know, not just health, we should get to the breakdown, ni program gani, ni project gani, ni activities gani, under all these departments. So the information should present actual expenditures against the approved budget. And then also, we should get a clear breakdown, what part of the budget has been spent that is part of the recurrent budget, and what part of the budget has been spent that is part of the development budget. And then, like somebody mentioned in the chat box, hapa ndio tunataka kujua absorption rate. You know, we should get to see what is the absorption rate in each of these departments, and we should know which departments are on course in terms of absorbing their budget well, which ones are maybe have a very low utilization, and most important, we should get justifications. Kama kuna department tukiangalia tunaona hawajaweza kuabsorb pesa yao vizuri, we should get an explanation as to why that is happening. So this is an example from Nyeri 2024-2025 quarter one report. So you can see here revenue performance. So are you able to, maybe are you able to see, let me ask which department. This is a summary of the revenue now that was coming through various, for each of the department. Maybe tuangalie Department of Trade. Okay, let's go to Department of Health Services. Are we able to see how much was collected for from burial fees within quarter one? Maybe we can type it in the chat box. Burial fees, how much did Nyeri collect? Good. Yeah, John, Caroline, John, I see budget champions, some people are saying 6,600. Somebody is saying 13,500. No, that is, remember that is the target. Tuko na column ya target, hiyo ya kwanza ni ya target. Maybe if you're not seeing it clearly. Ya pili ndio imeandikwa total Q1 financial year 24-25. So that is what we are referencing in this case to know what was collected. So yeah, good. So I think by now we can all see Godfrey, budget champions. We can all see it is 6,000, 6,600. All right, good. What about business permits under the Department of Finance and Economic Planning? How much was collected from business permits? Very quickly, I think we need to rush a little bit. Time is not on our side. John Michael, 14.1 million. Yeah, Moticia, 14.1 million. You're all right. And then now the other snippet over there shows you now the revenue collected from Health Services Fund. So you can see the money that has been collected. Can we see how much was collected from which hospital? Narumoro Level 4 Hospital. How much was collected from Narumoro Level 4 Hospital? $4.2, 4.2, 4.2. Good, good. I see we are all together. So that was just an example on revenue. Haya, tukuje kwa expenditure sasa. So coming to the expenditure, now look at the departments. So the first snippet is showing us every department, the amount and the amount that has been utilized. So let's start with which department? The Department of Agriculture, Livestock and Aquaculture Development. What is the absorption rate for that department? $24, exactly. Yeah, so we are together. Look at the county attorney. County attorney, how much has been utilized? Zero. Good. So you can see. So that is how you're able to track. Coming to the other side, you can also be able now to see each department and track the cumulative expenditure against the approved budget, and then now the absorption rate. So to proceed, the next part is the project implementation status. And hii ni muhimu sana, because this is where we are able to know to what extent projects have been undertaken, and in terms of percentage or status, where are we? So this section provides a detailed account on progress made on development projects and programs funded within the reporting period. It serves as a key performance monitoring tool because we should be able to see a linkage between the money that has been used and the projects that are happening, especially those that are being undertaken physically, development projects within the ground. So whether it's an ongoing project or a new project, this is where we should be able to see. So it ensures that projects are progressing as planned and in alignment with both the annual development plan that we started with when we were learning earlier, even the CIDP now here. There should be an alignment with all these, and most important, the approved budget. Something else about the project implementation status. Each department is reporting, so we should be able to see the updates coming from the department. So kama ni under agriculture, we need to see project implementation status under agriculture. Kama ni under mambo ya health, if there are any health facilities that are being constructed, whether they are new or they are ongoing ones, we should also be able to get these details. And by details, I mean the name of the project, the location, you know, and the progress, financial progress, you know, katika ile pesa imekuwa allocated, how much has been spent, and what percentage is it now, and so on and so forth. So that is it about that. An example from Nyeri again. So I don't know if you're able to see this, but if you look at this, I think this was from these are projects. So look at project 1, construction of the governor's office, construction of the governor's official residence in line with the CRC requirement. So you can see what I was telling you, location of the project, imeandikwa county-wide, start date, program start date, 1st July. It should start, is 1st July and it should end by 30th of June. So the duration are there. And then now you're able to see the allocation is some 19.5 million. Can we see the status of the project? What is the percentage? Good. John, Caroline, 0, 0. Rebecca, 0. Yes, you are right. So you can now be able to follow that way. Purchase of deputy governor's vehicle. And I think at some point I had Nelson, I don't know if this is the same Nelson, sijui kama ilinunuliwa hii vehicle or not, but you can see as that at this point it was 0. So that is now how you are able to track. Let's see if there's the other departments. Another example, come here. This is the Department of, I mean, this is another snippet. You can see completion of car wash facilities, garbage trucks. What is the percentage for what is the status of this project? 108, hiyo ni hiyo ya kwanza kabisa. Yeah, I think we can see Caroline, we are all in agreement, it's 15. So you can go on and on and on. Look at hire of machinery, 112. It is also 15. So you can go on and on and on. I want to rush a little bit in the interest of time. Now, the last, we have program performance. So the program performance part relates to what we've just come from. If you were able to see within those snippets from the Nyeri quarter 1 report financial year 24-25, this is just saying we need to get now an analytical summary of how the county departments have performed against now what we call outputs and outcomes. So for example, let me now use an example, maybe kama health. Maybe kitu kama health, kuna plan ya immunization. We should be able to see what is the output, what is the expected outcome. And then we should now be able to see now within the report, then how that is turning out for that period. Each department is expected to provide a summary of its program performance, highlighting key performance indicators used to measure progress, maybe the number of beneficiaries who have been reached, kama ni barabara, the number of kilometers of road that have been constructed, and so on and so forth. So this is an example, again, from Nyeri. Look at the department. This is under the Department of Health, program ya health system strengthening and support services. Look at something like the procurement of medicines, medical and other supplies. Do you see the outcome? The outcome is efficient and effective health systems. That the delivery unit is health services. What is the output for that? Procurement of commodities in 131 health facilities. Can we see that? Higher, good. Number of health facilities provided with commodities. Hiyo ndio key performance indicators. Haya, sasa tukuje kwa quarter 1. Out of 131 wameweza kupeana commodities kwa facility ngapi? How many of those 131 facilities have received commodities within quarter 1? Remember, tuko na column ya target, tuko na column ya actual, na tuko na variance. So in this case, all of them 131. Perfect. So we are together on that. So unaweza endelea ukiangalia hizo zingine. Look at something like quality assurance, monitoring and evaluation. And then wanasema the number of IPC teams in 6 county hospitals are 3 private and 3 FBOs strengthened through mentorship. How many have they been able to achieve within quarter 1 on quality assurance, monitoring and evaluation? 0. Exactly. So that is it about that. So I want to proceed to the next part. And now that is we're almost going to the breakout rooms. So challenges and recommendations is the last part. So katika kila implementation report, it is expected within every quarter, there is always some good things, there is always some challenges, but it is important that every quarterly implementation report as part of the component, that we are able to see what are the challenges that were faced within that quarter and what are the recommendations that have been made. So this section should highlight what key issues have emerged, and also what is the recommendation. So let's see some example here. So if you look at these 2 examples, the first one is from Machakos. So challenges in budget implementation. 1, there was delays in exchequer disbursements leading to delays in projects implementation and payments, lengthy procurement process, high level of pending bills, and some of the remedies may recommend hapo chini. 1, develop and implement strategies to enhance on-source revenue performance. 2, prioritize payment of eligible pending bills, and so on. Come to Nyeri, they are saying some of the challenges they faced: delay in disbursement, delay in approval of revised division of revenue bill, and subsequently county allocation of revenue act was also a challenge. And they are saying the county government has made efforts towards enhancing mobilization of local revenue to reduce reliance on external funding from the exchequer as well as donors. So I hope you see now the challenges and the recommendations that are coming out there. Now, very quickly, I want to ask this. How many of us have been able to access any quarterly implementation reports from our county governments, especially from their websites? If you have, maybe just say your county. If you've been able to just say your county, if you've been able to access any quarterly implementation report, then maybe we can be able to look at this next slide as we quickly dash into the breakout rooms. So I see Frida, Nyeri, Tharaka Nithi, Godfrey, Thomas, Tana River. That is great. Any other counties that you've accessed your quarterly implementation reports? Machakos. Okay, Samuel is saying Nakuru is also, they have accessed. That is good. So the reason I'm asking this is because as you're going to realize, if you've not been able to engage maybe as much within this, this space, or in terms of accessing your budget documents, you're going to realize that katika zile documents zenye county government huwa haziwezi ku avail to the public sana is the quarterly implementation reports. So even when we look at data that has been availed through the county budget transparency survey, which is normally undertaken by NECHub every year, the most recent one being the County Budget Transparency Survey 2024. This is how it looks like. So the first snippet, we are looking at a trend of availability of budget documents from 2020 to 2024, and then we are comparing. Now, I want you to look at the annual development plans. Zimeanza na annual development plan, the county fiscal strategy paper, the approved program-based budget, the citizen budget, the Finance Act, the CBRIP, and then the last four now are Q1 implementation report, Q2, all the way to Q4. I want you to look at those numbers, and you'll see even data shows clearly there's been a problem in terms of the availability of these documents by our county governments across Kenya. So it's a challenge. And then look at the trend of the same, the number of counties that have published budget documents consistently between 2020 and 2024. Angalia kitu kama annual development plan. 19 counties were able to publish consistently the ADPs within that period. CFSP, 19 counties. The approved program-based budget, 14 counties. Now go to the quarterly implementation reports. All of them as 4. How many counties have consistently published them? Maybe you can type that in the chat box. How many counties have consistently availed the implementation reports? Good. I'm glad you cannot. Only one county, and that is Nyeri, where Nelson comes from. So that shows you how serious this whole issue is. And remember, this is where the actual documents that are able to enable us to track, like we have learned, the implementation status and so on and so forth. So just to say that it is important for us to follow up with our counties to ensure that these documents are made available. So why, I know most of you may be wondering, why is it that most counties don't publish these quarterly implementation reports? So some of the reasons are, one, there's always delays in reporting from the departments, and then now maybe it becomes hard for the counties to meet the submission deadlines that we saw earlier. And then for most of us as citizens, we tend to give a lot of attention to the documents that we've learned in the previous sessions: the annual development plan, the county fiscal strategy paper, the approved program-based budget. So even the counties tend to kind of give the implementation reports low prioritization. And then finally, some counties actually compile these implementation reports, but they fail to upload them or share them in their websites. So there is poor dissemination of them. Maybe also I think there is weak enforcement. Maybe there is lack of consequences for late or non-publication of these reports. And maybe that also makes the counties to be lazy in terms of availing them. So I want to stop there for now so that Nelson can take us into the breakout rooms. I had shared the questions in the WhatsApp group, and my colleagues are going to be in the rooms. We try and answer what we can within the time that we're going to have, and then we can come back to wrap up. So thank you for now. Over to you, Nelson.
Thanks, Chris. So
go through the questions and add meaningful engagements. I don't know if there's any burning question from the group works. If there is, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Otherwise, I just want to wrap up because I know today we've taken some minutes already. And I'll take any question, or if there's any question, just put it in the chat box, or feel free to raise your hand. But to wrap up, these are the key takeaways in as far as the quarterly implementation report is concerned. So one, The quarterly implementation reports strengthen accountability and transparency. They provide a clear, timely picture of how country funds are being utilized, and progress that is being made towards implementation. And for that reason, they are very vital tools for evidence-based decision making. They inform planning, budget estimates, and policy actions. So as citizens, as citizens, it is important that we try and find and follow up on the quarterly implementation reports. That one, they are made available to us, but most important that we're able to use them to actually track to see the projects within our communities are being implemented. And maybe to mention, some counties actually doing this well. We normally have what we call project management committees. Some counties like Makueni have been able to leverage these committees as an opportunity for communities to basically follow up on project, directly follow up on project implementation. And that means they are able to ensure and see to it that the projects have actually been implemented. So I just wanted to wrap up by saying, by emphasizing what I said earlier, that most of the times we tend to just focus on the formulation stage of the budget. And then when we get into the implementation part, tunajipata hapo kidogo tunaoga mkono. Yet this is what is important, because this is where we're able to actually see if the things that we pushed and advocated for and that were included in the budget are that they have actually been undertaken, that they have actually been implemented. So I want to stop there for now. I don't know if there's, let me just check the chat box if there's any question. If there is none, I think we can wrap up, but I understand room 2 kulikuwa na challenge. Sorry about that. I hope you still were able to learn. Angela is saying Nyeri is doing good. Yeah, Nyeri is doing good, and Nelson will tell us. Nelson should tell us. Niliona mtu akisema Nyeri, show us your ways. So maybe Nelson will tell us what exactly is the secret. But I want to conclude and just to say thank you once again for your time. I see it's 20 minutes past. I really to appreciate your time and to say let's keep learning. I know we are almost concluding this program, but let's keep at it, and we will progress well. So I see somebody has raised their hand. Kindly unmute. I don't know if you're able to unmute and just speak.
Hi, Chris. I can see there's a question on the chat box that you have not addressed.
Yes.
The one that Joseph was asking about, what provisions are there for supplementary budgets, since this is affecting a lot of planned programs?
Good question. The question on what provisions are there for supplementary budgets, since this is affecting a lot of planned programs. Okay, I'll allow Nelson to respond to that. Somebody addressed their hand, or it's now sorted.
I think yeah.
Okay, sawa. So I think if there's no other question, Nelson, I want to hand over to you. Otherwise, good evening to you all.
Thanks, Chris. So I'll take brief, a short time. In terms of the question, in terms of what provisions are there for supplementary budgets, since this is affecting a lot of planned programs. So number one, there is, like, most counties will do like minimum 2 supplementary budgets, but there is no limit on the supplementary budgets that can be done. That's number one. Number two, the supplementary budgets are supposed, to realign the budgets as reality is hitting, because maybe some issues came up, conditional grant fulani mlikuwa mna expect haikukuja, ama ingine imeingia yenye hamkuwa mmefactor in, or you are as anticipating you can't collect the revenue that you expected, and so you have to cut down some projects, right? But then that is idealistic. What normally happens is that your counties and even national government will take this opportunity to reallocate resources without public input to areas that they feel that benefit them most if you're not careful. And so when of course Joseph is saying this is affecting most of the planned programs, we've actually raised that concern as budget advocates in terms of why involve us through the entire year of budget process, public participation, then you approve a budget. Then let's say 3 months later, you are now actually amending that whole. And for supplementary, what we notice is that they can actually remove money from one department to another. So you find that sometimes back, you know how you just walk along these corridors with the waheshimiwa, and somebody was on the call saying, we usijali, wacha supplementary ikuje, tutaweka pesa kwa hiyo project, and that is how they were talking with a contractor, right? And so you realize that whereas the drafters of the law were foreseeing situations where you actually need a supplementary budget, for example, like when the financial year comes to an end and your county has not absorbed all the money, they have to reappropriate that money in the next financial year through a supplementary budget, right? But now you find that some MCAs, some departments will actually do that, reallocate things there, because again, public participation is not like done during supplementary budgets. Unaonanga two changes. So your question is valid, and it's something you should always keep a keen eye on for that. I want to, again, of course, say asanteni to everyone. This is our 7th session, so we only have one more. We are still debating. We'll debate among the team. There was a request from some of you that you're involved in the national government processes, and we've been dealing a lot with the county budget process. And so there is a request from some of you that can we have a session where we take you through what happens at national level in terms of the budget process. But the 8th session had been slotted also for, the last document, which is audit, the Auditor General reports and the audit stage. So we will have a discussion with the team, then we will just highlight kwa group. So do not worry about that. Finally, for the assignments, they are still open. Nimeona Chris, mtu amesema hapa assignment ya implementation reports ni kama hawakuona. There are some people who are very keen, I guess, on these things. So from, I think, Chris, is that the assignments, every time he shares and adds, anaeka an extra link hapo. So all the other assignments are open. So you're able to do them. Some of you may have not done maybe 1 or 2. So kindly do that, because the process of marking is still ongoing on that, and it will be the basis for awarding you a NECHub budget graduation certificate. So on that, keep tabs. I've opened up the WhatsApp group. Sorry, we had forgotten. We like to open it up when we have this session so that we know if there are any challenges as you're joining in. Apologies for that, but for now it's open. And any other pending question we can ask there. So I want to bring this to an end. Mbona naona maswali huku. All right. Great. So thank you so much. Asanteni sana. For those of us tunaendelea na morning ya baba, kesho tupatane huko, na Saturday wengine Kisumu, and Sunday we bury him. So lovely long weekend to all of you. Kesho ni public holiday until I think Monday. So asanteni sana. Have a lovely night. Thank you guys.